What's going on, everyone? What's up, Sigman? What's up, Zuma? What's up, Rick? What's up, KSI? D20, Josh Smash. A couple new names in here. What's up, y'all? If anyone doesn't know how to type in the chat here on Discord, if you put your cursor by the free live stream voice channel you just clicked on, there should be a little bubble that says like open chat or something like that. Gonna wait a little bit longer. What's up, Onrod? Kind of an interesting day for sure. Discord looks totally different. I don't know if I'm a fan yet. 60K on PLTR. Nice. Have you been holding for a while, Rick? What's up, Duco? Long time. Nice. I remember, it was early on in my career, but I was buying PLTR back at I think like $20 or $25 a share. And then that's when it went back down to the teens. I just sold it. I mean, I probably had like 5 or 10 shares or something, but that was early on. Maybe like 2019, 2020. Let's see. Yeah, so I was buying it. I'm on Tesla. What am I doing here? PLTR. Kind of forget exactly where it was. Maybe it was just in the 20s. It just did nothing. Yeah, it was over here. Caught this kind of run, and then once it just kind of died off, I think I sold it at like $16. And that was it. But that's awesome. Yeah, really, really. Oh, so you bought it. I probably sold you some shares, Rick. Nice. Pretty crazy though. That's a big gap. I mean, I think PLTR, you got to think like a lot of the stocks that I trade they've been some of the biggest companies in the world. I wouldn't be surprised for PLTR to be a stock that I start trading a little more regularly. I've traded it maybe, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 times in in the past, but I do think that it could be one of those stocks. I mean, it gets more expensive. More news is around it, more volume, which means more liquidity, which means options trade better. Definitely could be something that I trade more often. Did AMD go down, Farouk? Was I right? You didn't trust me today. I think I saw it go down. Yep. See? Sometimes I know. I saw Google, guys. Google was the big hit today. They missed on a lot of their numbers. And I think they talked about their CapEx, which I think is a reason NVIDIA held up so well. From the little that I know on CapEx, it's not something that I've know super well, but it's capital expenditures is what I think it is, right? And that's where you're like investing in the infrastructure around the company, right? So if it's a Microsoft or Google, they're buying NVIDIA chips, they're buying new manufacturing buildings or pipelines or whatever it is, right? I think that's kind of what it is. So shorter term, it's not necessarily positive for the stock because that's going to cut into their margins, but longer term, it's obviously positive, right? Because they're investing into the company. So that's kind of what I've taken from CapEx. Nice, Farouk. Robinhood account going crazy. What do you like trading lately? So lately, we've seen some couple things going all-time highs, Rick. So like I had a decent Google trade on all-time highs the other day. It was around like 202, 203 on this day here, which was what, the January 31st. So last week, that was good. We had a solid meta trade. Let's see here. That was also an all-time high trade. I think it was right in here. I think it was on January 24th. It was on a Friday. Which, yeah, this was a Friday. It ended up going a lot further. So, I mean, that was good. I haven't really traded Tesla much. I had a little NVIDIA swing that I bought it on the day of the DeepSeek stuff. So when this started crashing in here, I just kind of started buying some February 28 expiration 130 calls. Ended up catching kind of the rebound that next day, sold most of my position, and then once it came back in here, I just cut it. Those contracts honestly aren't down much at all, even still. So I'm thinking about starting a position again on this, maybe buying, like, I think it's March 7th is the expiration. Yeah, March 7th. So they have earnings on February 26th. So I would want to be past that. I believe Pookie is in a position as well on that. He's looking to get out of this before earnings, right? But he also has February 28 expiration as well. So it's kind of interesting, right? Me and him both are taking the same kind of trade. A little bit different styles. I already got out of that. He's still in it. So, sometimes things line up like that. So we were looking at the same thing. And he's also planning to get out before earnings. And he also thinks he can get, 130, maybe even 140. Which is very doable, right? I mean, we still have 22 days until earnings. And we also have, the big trade here. I'm telling myself, like, look, even if you don't get a swing trade on this and you can catch this gap fill from about 129, even catches a couple bucks on this up to like 135, that's a solid trade there. So once NVIDIA can kind of make its way back up to this 130 level and we can hit this big gap from that DeepSeek news, there's going to be a good trade there regardless. So whether you're swinging into it or not. I had 1,000 shares at 13.25, held it through ups and downs, literally sold it right before it took off above 30. No stop loss. Interesting name, but I'm sure you're talking about PLTR. That sucks. There's been a lot of people talking about just kind of selling PLTR before the run. I mean, it happens, I don't know that anyone could have predicted that we'd be at $100 right now. I mean, I know that Shai has talked about it a lot. I think it could be a good long-term company, but sometimes you just get out of things early. It is what it is. But if you caught it from 13.25 and sold it 30, or around 30, it's still about 100% gain. So it's hard to complain about that. To me, it all comes down to what was your idea there. Was it a long-term investment that you sold way too early? Or was it more of a trade that you took when you're up around 100%, right? Either one. If it was a long-term investment you sold early, then maybe that was a problem. But yeah, just like Rick said, green is green. But if it was more of a trade, then it is what it is. Yeah, I bet so. But PLTR will be around for a long time. There'll be another pullback. There's going to be chances to buy back into that. But again, it all comes back down to what's your idea. Are you looking to buy this and hold it for, a few months, or are you looking to buy and hold it for 5 or 10 years? How was BKSY? It was crazy. I don't know what that is or anything about it, but I'll pull it up. Yeah, up 16% today. Pretty solid move here. This is honestly a really nice breakout here. This consolidation around 1250. I don't know anything about it. I don't know why it's up like this. It looks like there was some news possibly back on January 28th. I don't know. Black Sky Technology. I don't know anything about it. It's not a stock I trade regularly. This NVVE name that we've kind of been mentioning. I know Quinn just talked about it. This moved really well. This moved really well. I didn't see any specific news today come out, but this caught volume and I've seen it been posted. So I saw some people make some money on this as well. But if you could get in anywhere under $3, I mean, it went to 477. That's a crazy move, up 25% today, and it closed down at 328. So very interesting trade there. But that's been getting called out for a little while, at least a week or so, I would say. Nice, Jag. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep this on watch for the rest of the week. I mean, even if I buy 500 shares of it and see if it goes up another dollar or so, I think if it can break that five, typically when you have stocks like this, every dollar level is going to kind of act as like a squeeze point. So if you go back and look, we've rejected $3. We rejected $3 like right on the penny yesterday. And once we broke that, you can see how it squeezed, right? We broke 3, started holding above that, would push 10 cents at a time, got to 323, 330, 340. Once it hit 350, you saw the volume just tick into this, right? I mean, like literally on the money, right? Volume here, 330, low volume, low volume. Once we broke 350, you can see the volume start coming in here, and then it just started shooting. So it doesn't look like a crazy move, but you do percentages on that. I mean, $2 to $3 from all the way to 5. That's pretty solid. If you had 10,000 shares of that, that could have gone insane. I mean, not that anyone would be buying 10,000 shares of that blindly, but doing the math, it's pretty solid. You're getting like option, weekly option returns on something like that. So for anyone that's new here, please ask questions. I do this once a week. So there's, obviously there's no bad questions. You can ask absolutely anything you want. If you don't know, we do have a 5-day free trial still running. I don't know how much longer that's going to go, but if you are interested in that, I can send a link in. Just say something here in the chat. I'll get you that link. Took it from 255 to 4. Nice. Yeah, I'll send the link in right now. So just a little just a little insight on this free trial. You're not going to get inducted right now. You can sign up right now. There's no credit card. There's no anything. But you won't get inducted into the premium side until Sunday night. We do that just so you'll get a full 5-day, a 5-day actual trial for trading days, right? Because if you got inducted today, you'd get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then you get Saturday, Sunday, right? And market's not open. So you'll get inducted Sunday night. So you get Monday through Friday on that trial, just so you get a full five trading days, just FYI. TradingView is hard to use for me, but I think I almost got it figured out. So I don't know how to find the stock buddy indicator on it. Have you bought the stock buddy indicator, KSI? Have you made a support ticket? Make sure you do that, and they'll help you out. Hit that link and make a support ticket for it. Definitely want to make sure you get to use it. Yeah, some of y'all that have used it, you probably can help them out. I'm sure it's just in the indicator thing and you search it. Yeah. I've used TradingView just a handful of times. So let's see. I actually used TradingView recently for XRP. What's XRP at? It's come down a little bit, 250. Gotta say, that signal on XRP I gave the night was pretty good. 250. Not mad at that. It's up 20%. Is Webull a good app to trade on? Yeah, I mean, I've never used it personally, but I do know a lot of people that have used it and people that still use it. It's definitely, I don't like Robinhood for day trading necessarily. But I think Webull is good. I always advocate for Thinkorswim. That's what you're looking at right now. So Thinkorswim, Webull are definitely good, like starter starter softwares. I don't buy and sell on Thinkorswim anymore, but I did for a couple of years. and it's still good. I mean, to me, there's no problem with it. But yeah, Webull, Thinkorswim, I tend to recommend those two. I think Webull may be a little bit easier for new traders, just to be completely honest. Thinkorswim has a lot of tools that may overwhelm you, but I've used it forever, so I can always help you. But yeah, IBKR, that's what I buy and sell on. Chag, Canadian here, uses that as well. Interactive Brokers, it's Trader Workstation is what it's called. Interactive Broker Trader Workstation. I have to pay like 100 or 115. Honestly, I don't even know anymore because they take it right out of your account. So it's kind of nice. You know, obviously, if you have like a $500 account, you'll notice it, but they take it. You know, they take the subscription money right out of your account, so it's pretty good. And you know, really, you can pay for other things. I just pay for like market depth or market view or whatever it's called because it gives me level 2. It gives me just a couple other tools that I use, which are nice. But yeah, I mean, no, Duke. Some people make it work. I just think that you know, if when I'm trying to get in something in like a split second, you know, and especially if I'm signaling to you, and it takes you an extra 2 to 3 to 5 seconds to get in, you know, sometimes it's you know, it can kind of screw you up, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. You know, what's up, Dripto? I know, Duco. You make it work. You may have to do a Robinhood masterclass on day trading. I'm not gonna lie. Trade Zero. I've never heard of that. The two new ones I've been hearing about would be Tasty Trade and Mumu. Definitely interesting names to use, but Tasty Trade looks very similar to Thinkorswim. Mumu, I would say, you know, honestly, kind of the same. I know Robinhood just came out with like a desktop version. Didn't look terrible, but you know, just things to consider. What's up, John on YouTube? Jeremy Dennis, YouTube. Think PLTR is still going to run this week? It definitely could. You know, I mean, PLTR obviously gapped up on the earnings, kind of had a, you know, it had a good start to the day, sold off, right? People took some profits, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this go further. I mean, maybe 110, 115, 120. It all depends. I mean, you know, this could come down back into 95, you know, messed around $100, you know, take a couple days, then move on, right? I mean, look at something like Netflix. You know, obviously not the same company, but big earnings. They had profit taken the next day, chilled out for 5-10 days, and then you know it just made a new all-time high today. But you know, it gives itself a base, right? It kind of calms down and then can make a move. So I don't know how long PLTR will take. You know, it could go for 115 tomorrow. I don't know, but you know, considering it didn't sell off super hard, to me, it could be looked at as a positive. I've been trading futures for about a month, and it's so much easier than options. So, question is, do you trade futures, and what advantage does options have over futures? So, I mean, look, a lot of people trade futures, right? Futures and forex are like a big social media thing these days. So, look, if you, I mean, I know people who trade futures for a living. If you're good at that and you rather trade that, then the whole point of this, guys, is to find something that you're good at and stick to it. You know, if you're much better at futures than you are options or you know, small cap trading or swing trading or investing or whatever it is, if you're good at something, stick to it. I'm not going to tell you not to do something if you're making money, right? If it's not broke, don't fix it. I don't trade futures. You know, the only positive of futures over options is I don't think that there's time decay on it and it's linear. You know, the only thing that I kind of counteract futures with is I use futures as a tool, not so much something I'm going to trade. For example, if I'm trading Meta or Tesla or Nvidia or Apple, things that are in the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq, rather than me simply just trading the Nasdaq or you know SPY the S&P 500, And kind of depending on the other stocks to move well, I trade a specific stock and then base how it's doing compared to the market. So if the market is selling off and I'm seeing Tesla kind of go flat or maybe even go up a little bit, I know Tesla's strong for that day. So if I can see futures bounce and actually start showing strength, that should kind of kick up Tesla to go higher. And so I can use SPY and the Nasdaq and Q as a tool for me. Does that mean it's impossible to trade those? Not at all. Like I said, if you're good at it, stick with it, make your money. But me personally, I don't trade them, but I watch them every single day. PLTR, yeah, it dripped. It could. I mean, PLTR could definitely do a Nvidia run. Yeah, Jason, for sure. Yeah, I hope you have success with futures. I mean, I do want to mention this again. I mean, the whole social media side of trading, e-minis, or ES minis, what it is, and NQ and all that stuff. It's out there, especially, Forex as well. I mean, it's everywhere. It honestly gets a lot more traction than options trading at times. So if you're doing that because you see guys online doing it, selling a course, that's kind of where you want to be a little iffy. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. Right? I don't think there's any advantage or disadvantage to doing that. For my style, I just like using futures as a tool, and that's just what I do. What actually is options, futures, and spot trading? So options is when you're buying and selling options on a stock. So if I'm buying Tesla calls or Tesla puts, it's just kind of a way to leverage your money. Rather than buying a share for $400 on Tesla, I'm buying an option for, maybe 300 or 400 or 500 or 600. But it's giving me, every option contract I buy is giving me the opportunity to be in control of 100 shares. So if I were to buy 100 shares on Tesla for $400, I think that's what, 40 grand. You got to be in $40,000. Or I can buy one option contract and make roughly the same return. But I don't know exactly what spot trading is, but futures, you can trade contracts on futures, and they're just a little bit different than options. Yeah, it's the option, right? Which is, hence the name, gives you the opportunity to, it's like buying a piece of paper, right? If I said, Josh Smash, you can buy this piece of paper contract from me for $400 for the right to buy Tesla at 500. Okay, and Tesla's at, I don't know, 455, and you think it's going to go to 500. So you can, if I sell it to you for $400 and Tesla goes up to 465 and it's worth $500, you can sell it back to me for $500 and make your $100. You know what I mean? But if it goes, let's say Tesla goes from 455 where you bought it all the way up to $700 a share, you have the right to buy 100 shares per contract you have at your strike price at 500 or wherever you bought it. Yeah, the right, not the obligation. That's perfect. I just trade the contract premiums, right? What about dividend strategy like YMAX that pays weekly and community bill? I don't know anything about that, Blake. It's just not really what I'm good at. So, I hate to kind of like disregard that question. Obviously, dividends are great. I know Duco is very good with dividends. There's a bunch of other people like the Rags to Riches program in here with Pookie's Revenge is really good. I'm just not much of a dividend guy. I don't know a lot about it, so I'd rather not give you bad information on that. That's just me being completely transparent with you. I'm a day trading, scalping kind of guy. That's just what I do. It's what I'm good at. It's what I teach. So I'd rather not go into stuff that I don't know about. Just Rags to Riches. Yeah, it's also free. So JT, in futures, I don't know what you're asking. Futures is rather than buying and selling a stock, you're buying and selling futures on things. There's futures on the S&P 500, the Nasdaq. You can buy futures on corn. You can do commodities futures, cattle, oil, stuff like that. Day trading and scalping is pretty much, it's very close to the same thing, right? Scalping is like a technical term. I would consider myself more of a scalper. But so day trading is buying and selling within the same day, just to be like, to the book definition about that. Scalping is just buying and selling a little bit quicker, right? So let's say I buy something at market open and I sell it 2 hours later. I still bought and sold it in the same day. But scalping would be I buy something at market open and I sell it 10 minutes later or 5 minutes later or 2 minutes later. You know what I mean? It's just really quick trading. That's a little bit more what I do. There are times where I buy and hold something for, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour. But most of the time, I would say my trades are under 10 minutes a time. So I'm, technically considered a scalper, Tyler. Uh, I don't honestly, JT, I've never traded futures, so I don't know like exactly, but like futures, it's like buying an option on SPY or the NASDAQ or anything like that. But I don't think there's any time decay. And options, you can make $50 per $1 move, then 55, then 60, then 100, then $150 per $1 move that the stock goes. Futures, it's all the same, right? I make $10 per $1 move that the futures move, right? So it's linear rather than exponential. To me, that's really all I know as a matter of fact for the difference between the two, other than, obviously trading futures other than one stock, if that makes sense. What's this? Thank you, Chad. Yeah, so JT, there's a good explanation on that. Thanks, Rob. What else you guys got? We're about halfway through. You new members, let's hear it. Ask some questions before I start calling on you. So far, it's been good. Any tip? Hang on. Google tanked. Yeah, Google got crushed on earnings. A lot of it was due to they just missed a bunch of their numbers, like revenue missed. I think EPS missed. Yeah, it could easily rebound, decently quick. But yeah, I mean, Google is by far the most violent earnings move to the downside so far. Any tips on scalping? Yeah, I mean, so Tyler Rain, I'm the scalping day trading coach, right? So I have a bunch of lessons and stuff on that. I do it every day. I mean, I had a free live trading this morning. I'm doing it again on Thursday. I do free live trading Tuesday and Thursday mornings. Monday and Wednesday are going to be for premium only. But scalping is you're looking for a small, high odds move. So I mean, my biggest my biggest advice there is going to be using risk management. If I'm looking for a 15-20% move on my contracts, there's no way I could risk more than that, right? So you have to have really tight stop losses and also like pretty tight targets. I can write trade ideas up. Like I think, the other day I was like, I think Google can go to 205 plus, and we bought it at like 202, 202 and a half, whatever it was. And I sold kind of the majority and then all of my position around 203 and a half, 204, 204, 25, right? But I did think it could go 205 plus. But do I know that for a fact? Absolutely not. But I'm a scalper. So I took that move and then it ended up going up to like 205.50. So could I have made more money? 100%. But I'm going to take, I want to catch that middle part of the trade where I can, at least the bulk of it. No one's going to buy the bottom and sell the top every time, right? I would say 99% of the time, you're not going to do that. So I don't know. There's a bunch of tips I can give you, but to me, the biggest one is risk management. If I'm looking for a small move in my favor, I have to be looking for a small or smaller move against me, and you have to stick to that. There's scalpers that take 25 trades a day, and there's also guys like me who might take one, maybe two trades a day, right? So I don't know. There's a lot. You want to become a better scalper, Rick? Yeah, well, I'm here. I know you switched to Lee's swing trading coaching, but once you kind of learn all that, then I'm here for you. All good, Duco. Enjoy. Yeah, Meta. So like the opening trade this morning was kind of tough, right? It didn't work perfectly, but we ended up coming back. I didn't end up signaling that second one because it was kind of risky, but for the people that did, easily made their money back. So I wasn't terribly mad at that. I did think there was a very good, I think it was a great looking setup, and maybe we get it tomorrow. I don't know. Meta ended up going up to 707, so we saw that all time high at 710 to look at. Yeah, Rick, 30% is great. Ethan, I enjoyed the scalp game. How do you play the uptrend and pullbacks? I have a pullback reversal sell off. So I mean, I'm very good at like the opening 15 to 30 minutes. A lot of the times if I want a stock to go up, I want it to pull back off the open a little bit. Maybe I take a little tiny position on that pullback and then add in as it's making its way up. Like for example, today, let me just go over my trade today real quick on Meta. So Meta, we have all-time highs here at 710 and 29 or 79 cents. We had a rejection here around 705, rejection here at 704. Pre-market high today was 705. I wanted to see this pull back off the open, and then I get what's called an opening range break. So this morning, right? I mean, look, these are 1 minute candles. This is all I'm looking at here. We got the pullback off the open. We came up back above the $700 level. I started buying in, looking for it to break this high here at 702.50 and then breaking 704 and then pre-market high at 704.95, I think. So it ended up just kind of failing here. I stopped out right under when it broke 700. So, I mean, my risk was like, I don't know, $1, and a half. And I was looking for this to break 705 and go up for 710. So I was looking for, roughly a $7 to $8 move in my favor, but I'm risking about $1, maybe $2 on that. So the risk reward is there. So sometimes if I miss an opening trade, like if Meta would have just instantly popped off the open, I would have looked for it to pull back in. I would try to buy into a pullback for it to go higher. So those are like my top two setups, either an opening range break or I buy a break and retest of the level. That's all. Most of the time, that's all I do. I'm good at that, and I stick to it. I don't really try to go outside of that because, could I make money other ways? Sure. But, I'm not, statistically, I'm not really good at that stuff. So if I'm not good at that and I lose money most of the time, I don't do it. But, Jason, nobody knows if the stock's going to go up or down. What I do is I have a setup pre-market. I'm like, okay, I like this. This is what I want to happen. If it does this, I'm going to do that. And if it does this other thing, I'm going to do that. If it doesn't do any of those, I don't do anything. Right. So as chaotic as the way that I trade, you have to have like these really hard set of rules to stick to. And then it's simple, right? Like I said, as chaotic as it is, when you have these set plans in place to trade the chaos, it's very simple, right? It's like so much is going on, but I'm calm because I know that I'm looking for like one, maybe two different things to happen. If that doesn't happen, I'm not taking the trade, right? I'm in control. The market's not in control of what I'm doing. Crypto girl, what's going on? How do you think MSTR looking until Friday? I don't, crypto's kind of been a little weird lately. So, I don't know. I think MSTR longer term is a good thing. But honestly, if I'm going to trade MSTR, I'm going to be paying really close attention to what Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP are doing. If those aren't doing well, I'm not going to be trading MSTR. So, could it, it had a decent, strong day yesterday. Earnings are coming up. I think earnings are tomorrow, actually, after close. So I would stay away from that until after earnings. I would bet their earnings are good. That doesn't mean I'm going to be buying calls for them. So I know support and resistance, but reversal can help be a lot more. ROI, and so predict it. So, I mean, look, ROI, stochastic, RSI, MACD. Look, when I started, guys, I had all the indicators. I did that thing. Can they help you? Sure. But, at this far in my career, looking back, I thought the same thing. these indicators are perfect, right? If the indicator tells me what to do, I'm going to do it. And this is like an easy way to make money. It's not. If it was that easy, everyone would do this. Everyone would make money. And, trading wouldn't be as hard as it was. Indicators can help you. At the end of the day, if you don't understand price action and the very bare bones of trading, you're never going to be good at this. So, use the indicators to help confirm your trade. Have a trade idea already in place, and then if the indicators do confirm that, then you can take that trade. If you're blindly buying because a red line crosses a blue line, over time you're gonna lose money. That's just the reality of it. So, thank you, Chad. Yeah, discipline is definitely key. Over on YouTube, John3333. Can you have a look at chart LGCY? Seems a good buy, although little volume. If there's little volume, to me, if there's no volume, there's no trade. LGCY. Yeah, I mean, definitely consolidating here. I mean, you have a pretty clear resistance at $8.75 and then $9. I would, for me as a trader, I just wait for it to start breaking this. Once it starts breaking $9, that's where I get involved, and that's where I can see a move to $10. But if there's no volume, to me, there's no trade. This is obviously a recent IPO in September, so I would just be careful. It's not something I'd be wanting to buy down here, but to me, if I see it kind of creeping up in here, volume kicks up, very easy trade. Then you can take that. Ethan, how do you determine the right moments to buy calls or puts? Are there specific market indicators or signals that you use to prioritize your decision-making process? Yeah, so I mean, I definitely have a process, right? So, from Meta today, for example, even though I talk about wanting to see a dip, I'd be, that doesn't mean I'm going to be buying a random dip on this. Sometimes I do get aggressive and try to buy a small position on a dip, but like my entry would be, my entry was right here. And that was my criteria because it got back above 700. And this is a very specific example for Meta. But, I'm not buying it here. I'm not buying it here. It has to get up in this area for me to buy it. So I don't know. I mean, that's a very general question, Gary. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of so I have to see volume on the stock. I have to see aggressive buying or selling in the direction that I want. I'm also looking for a very specific price for my entry. I don't care what the stock does. If it gets to that price, I'm liking, I want to buy it there for a call or put. And, some people get confused on when do you buy an option based on what the stock is doing? The stock is going to do whatever it wants to do. Okay. Just because we're buying options, the stock isn't going to move based on that. I'm buying options simply to just leverage my money, and I'm going to trade the stock as if I was buying shares. So some people get confused on that. The stock's going to do whatever it wants, right? These are multi-trillion-dollar companies. Just because I buy $5,000 or $10,000, even if I bought $1 million in option contracts, it's not going to move the stock. So I'm going to be trading that stock how I would, regardless if it's shares or with option contracts. Market indicators, like if I'm looking for an upside trade, Gary, I want to see the overall market, meaning SPY and the QQQs, right? The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 moving in my favor. That's something that's very clear that I have to see happening. Volume on the stock, volume on the contracts is always something I want to see, and then definitely strength or weakness in the stock, whichever way I want to see it go. Net is one to watch on earnings. Yeah, net could be good for sure. Let's see, when are those earnings? Net has earnings on the 6th, so 2 days. Yeah, it could be good. It's been really strong. First, I'm using a trailing stop order NVV. Nice. Yeah, NVVE was great today, honestly. Really, really good. I made a little bit of money on that. Was told by a veteran trader that options were more of an insurance policy. Yeah, so so you say veteran trader. Yeah, so typically when you talk to a veteran trader and Sir Sleep, I've traded on trading floors before with guys who've done it for 40 years. None of them are scalping options like me, but they also have multiple $1 million in an account to trade with. So they can buy 1,000, 10,000 shares of a stock that's a couple $100, right? Because they have the capital to do that. So a lot of the times they'll just trade equity. I use options just to leverage my money. That's just a way for me to do it. It's a little bit more complicated, but I can also trade the biggest companies in the world using a smaller amount of money, right? Um, Sometimes people will, let's see, what was one trade that I talked? So I talked to the firm that I worked at almost every single day. One of them was talking about a trade. Let's see, what is it? So like on BABA, so like they're long BABA with shares, but they buy puts as an insurance policy, right? Kind of like a hedge. So they'll buy shares on it, but then also buy puts against it just in case it goes against them. So they have like an insurance, but they'll make more on the shares, so they have more shares. But if it does end up coming against them, they have those puts in place to kind of make up for any sort of losses that they have, if that makes sense. So yeah, sometimes veteran traders do use options as more of a hedge. Sensei, what do you think about GUR? Let me look. So, I mean, look, obviously crazy run into the end of the year. It's pulled back, it's kind of consolidated. I mean, from a technical standpoint, you kind of have like a downtrend here, some sort of support in this area. To me, if it breaks $15, then breaks above 17 in this area, I would be somewhat interested to trade a breakout on that. If it breaks under $11, then breaks under 10, that to me is where it could slip up for sure. So that's kind of all I have on that. But I don't know. It's kind of setting up for a trade here. It's kind of wedging up, coiling up for a move to either direction. If you look at GDX options, would that be a hard one to predict on which ones to do? So GDX is gold, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, so gold. So if I'm going to trade a commodity, right, like gold or oil or something, I'm not necessarily going to be super. I'm not going to be paying attention to the chart so much, right? I'm not going to be looking at technicals because something like Tesla and Meta, they do have news around it, but there's a lot of volume and a lot of stuff like that. But commodities wise, right? Oil, gold, natural gas, whatever it is, that's going to be more fundamental driven. So you're going to need to be paying attention to gold prices. What moves gold, right? The dollar going up or down, right? The US dollar, right? We have tariffs coming into play. You see the dollar, gaining or losing value. That's going to make gold gain or lose value. So I would be more paying attention to the fundamental economic side of things rather than technicals, rather than support resistance, chart patterns, stuff like that. On YouTube, if AMD is still down, should we buy the dip? What's your thoughts? I don't know. AMD has just kind of been pretty dormant. NVIDIA's had all the news. NVIDIA's done the best. To me, AMD just hasn't really done a whole lot. And for me as a day trader, I just stay away from it. Until AMD has a lot of news and traction and volume and movement, to me, there's no reason to trade it as a day trader. If you're wanting to invest in AMD, I mean, it's definitely on a pretty decent dip, over the last 52 weeks. And, could be a good long-term buy. That's good, Sir Sleep. Any XRP thoughts? It's okay if you don't do crypto. So Bryce, I typically never trade crypto. And the other day, if it seems like you pay attention to XRP, I actually sent in an alert to like my coaching chat. Whenever XRP broke $2, I bought a pretty decent amount simply because it went from $3 above 3 all the way down to under 2, and I bought a ton on that dip, and it ended up bouncing really well. So to me, I'm not going to be day trading something like XRP. When I have an opportunity like that, I bought it, and I'm waiting for it to get back to $3, maybe above 3. So my fill price is I think like 204 or something. So to me, that's not something I'm day trading. When I had an opportunity like that, when that dropped 35% or whatever it was, I buy it. And that was a really kind of lucky opportunity there. I was kind of sitting there looking at my phone, got the alerts. Oh my God, it just broke $2 and bought. There was not a whole lot of thought process into that. I just bought. And typically I don't like to advocate for blindly buying something, but when I see a discount that significant, I took advantage of it, and now I'm up 50 cents a coin, and now I'm just waiting. I got a really good spot, and I can hold this for months or years or whatever I want to do to see if it gets back above 350, $4. I'll probably sell a pretty decent chunk when it gets back above 3, just to kind of take my short-term gains and then see the rest, see if it can go higher. Yeah, for sure. Especially with the new, the Trump administration, very pro crypto, XRP, with that whole SEC deal has definitely been getting more traction. Big reason why when I saw it dip from $3 to under 2, I took advantage of it. To me, it's as simple as that. I didn't really look too much into it. Does how old a company matter to you when it comes to a stock or options? Not necessarily, certainly, but I can tell you're new, so you don't really know who I am. I tend to trade like the same 10 stocks, right? I don't trade the penny stocks. I don't trade little stocks that are new or whatever. So, I definitely don't look at how old the company is. I more so care about on a day-to-day basis. Does it have volume? Is it a really cheap stock, or is it a big expensive stock like I like? I 99.999% of the time, I'm going to be trading stocks like Tesla, Meta, Nvidia, Apple, Microsoft, Netflix, Google, Amazon, right? Stuff like that. The biggest companies in the world that we all know. That's where I'm good, and that's where I make money. So I stick to it. There's very rare occasions when I move on from that, right? The examples I like to use during COVID, vaccine stocks really hot. I traded those. During crypto movements, I may look at Coin or Mara or Riot. During the Boeing, when the door flew off, I looked at, I traded that to the downside. Yeah, so crypto, yeah, I was talking about that before you got in here. PLTR is starting to get to that point where it may be something that I trade a lot more, right? AI company, technology company, that's typically what I trade, right? On a day-to-day basis. So it could creep its way to my watch list, which is something I watch every day. 100%. That's interesting, Chag. I know that Trump is, quote unquote, possibly meeting with the Chinese, what is it, Chinese President Xi Jinping or whatever. What else you guys got? You got about 10 or so minutes left. Duke, I think tomorrow could be decent on that. I'll leave it at that. I still have a little position on. I'm at 80% of it, but financial juice. Okay. I think it could get back up there. We'll see. Tomorrow's, yeah, just pay attention tomorrow. Could do nothing, could do something special. I don't know. I'm not much of an after hours trader, seriously, just because it's very low volume. There's times when you have earnings or news or you can make money on that. But most of the people that I've known that are really successful at this aren't much of after hours traders. But if you made money, you made money. Maybe you're the best after hours trader in the world at some point. Who knows? But if you are interested in getting like coaching or moving to premium, just let me know. Actually, if you have just any questions, I know you're new, so I want to make sure you're taken care of. Let me add you as a friend here so you can DM me if you need anything. I'm going to start a whole new kind of like master class for my coaching and stuff soon as well. For you guys that are already in there. Nice, Jack. I'm going to look that up here in a sec. Sweet, Jason. Let me know. Jason, I had you as a friend as well, just so just in case. But yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot in premium, guys. There's a ton. I mean, for you new guys that don't know, I mean, like we met in Florida over the summer in July. I was there, got to meet a lot of the members, did some live trading in front of them, got to hang out for a couple days. It was fun. So, this isn't just like some like ridiculous Discord buy by course kind of deal. And it's not like it's ran by one trader, right? There's multiple analysts, multiple traders, ton of stuff like that. Quinn, I love it, dude. I started at 15 years old, so you're ahead of me. It's gonna be rough in the beginning, as much as you want to think that you're grown up and smart. I'm just gonna newsflash, you're not. I've been there and I've done it, but to me, the earlier the better. Just understand you're not going to make $1 million tomorrow, and the slow and steady, the slower and steadier you take it, the better you're going to be off. I'm finishing up my last semester in college right now. And by the time that you're here, especially if you start at 14, you're going to be golden. You're going to be golden. I love that. Welcome to the game, my friend. Yeah, it's definitely, and it's a blessing and a curse to start that early. But yeah, I started at 15. It's challenging for everyone, no matter what age you are, but it's it's good. Just take it slow. You're in the right place right now. I would say I would rather you put more time into education and learning about it rather than trying to sling money around. Yeah, Jason, 100%, man. I hope to see you in premium. If you need anything, you now know where to find me. Glad you made it. About to wrap things up. So if there's any last minute questions, guys, fire away. Yeah, Quinn, that's honestly great. But I would tell you, I would want you to be going in with like $100 positions, right? Just worst comes to worst, you lose 100% on that position. It's not your entire account. Just take it slow. Think about if you can make 10 or $20 in a day, Most of your friends in high school can't do that. I'm sitting here in college and a lot of my friends are trying to scrape together 20 bucks to, go out to a bar or something on a weekend. And I can sit here and I can make a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 in a day. It's a grind, it's a marathon, but it's so worth it if you can just take it slow. When I started, I didn't have any mentors, I didn't have any chat rooms. I found Wall Street Bets thinking that I was, I found a gold mine, and we all know how Wall Street Bets is now. It's a process. You're gonna make mistakes, you're gonna, run into a lot of problems, but that's part of it. Don't quit and you'll be successful at this. I mean, it's really the long and the short of it. If you're going to lollygag and not take it seriously, then, maybe you end up failing in the end. But if you do take it seriously over time, I don't think there's any better job in the world than to do something like this. Sir Sleep, yeah. I mean, I've been there and done that. Right, exactly. Right. Some people work an hour for $15, you know, and sometimes you can make that in 5 seconds or 5 minutes or whatever it is. JT, let me look here. Soul. Okay, so this is crypto. So I'm not super really know. Looks like you made 0.0001 Soul, 30 time leverage. I don't know. I mean, look, there's fees and stuff involved there, JT, so that may be the problem. It could, yeah. I think it may definitely depend on like the fees and stuff like that. So I don't know. 30 time leverage making that. I mean, maybe it was supposed to be $5, but there's a lot of fees in crypto. Yeah, but leverage 30 times, right? 30 times 2 cents would be what, 60 cents? I don't know. I wish I knew. I don't know what platform you're on, anything like that. I'm sorry. I don't have a perfect answer for you, and I only like to give out things that I know for a fact. But hey, I've done that. All right, guys. Anything else before I wrap things up? I'm happy you guys came in here and asked some questions. That's great. It's the only way you're going to get better. If you don't ask questions, you're never going to get better. Your learning curve is going to be so much longer. Yeah, Jay, unfortunately, he is retired for a little while. All right, Duco. Hope you did well, as always. I know it sucks. He's going through some stuff. Yeah. I would say options most likely. Seriously, penny stocks are very, very hard to do good on. Yeah, I think he'll end up coming back for sure. TK, it just might be. Yeah, it's not going to be like crazy long time, but I don't want to share any of his personal information here. But yeah, he needs a little time. Yeah, 30% a day is really tough. You got to think the SP 500 on average makes 10% a year. If you can make 10% a month, you're beating the market. No, it doesn't matter what day, and even Friday you can still buy options. They're just zero DTE, so they're a little, they're a little riskier. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap things up here. Sir Sleep. If you have any other questions, just DM me, and I can answer to you as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I got some more stuff I got to do tonight before I wrap things up. But I hope you guys have a good rest of the night. I'm not live trading tomorrow morning, but I am doing an earnings stream. Other than that, I'll see you guys Thursday morning for some free live trading. And yeah, let's kill it. Let's try to finish this week out strong. Thank you guys for being here. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. All right. Adios.